everybody. Welcome to the Chamber's January 1st Friday Luncheon. I'm Melinda Moore, the 2023 Board President. This is my last First Friday, as we will be welcoming Will Alvis next week into the position at the annual Chamber Banquet. We are thrilled to see you all today. At this time, I would like to ask Father David Faulkner from St. Cyprian's Episcopal Church to come forward and say the invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious Father, we give you thanks for this day and the time we have to share together. We thank you for this community, this city, and this county, and the privilege of serving the people here. Bless this food to our use and us to your service. Keep us ever mindful of those who have less than we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. We are excited to welcome some new investors to the Chamber from this past month. Please help me welcome, and some of these are here, Sarah's Hope Foundation. They're here today. Please stand if you can. Thank you. Marsh McLennan Agency, for those of you who don't know, that's Ben Honeywell. Sigma Heating and Air, they're here today. Thank you. And Texas Family Care Network is here. Thank you. We also have Lufkin Jewelry on the Square and Kingtown RV Park. Let us give everybody a big welcome. We all know that it takes sponsors to make events like today happen. I would like to thank our sponsors, our First Friday Luncheon sponsor, Lufkin Coca-Cola. Thank you. The media sponsor, Lufkin Daily News. And the on-time monthly drawing sponsor, Serve Pro of Lufkin and South Nacogdoches. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
Thanks, Melinda. You think about how far you've come in a year. You said it's my last one. I thought it's the best one she's done as well. When she took the position, she said, "I will do it as long as I don't have to talk in public." I said, "Only 12 times." You did great. We've enjoyed having you. Today is always one of my favorite times, January and February, when we get to hear about our community. And today we have the honor of hearing from our Angelina County Judge, Keith Wright. Prior to joining the county, Keith was the city manager of Lufkin for 6 years. He also held the position of city engineer and deputy city manager for 19 years, which brings his total time with the city of Lufkin to 30. He is a registered professional engineer with the state of Texas, and he and his wife Amy have 4 children, Shane, Kayla, Charles, and JB. Would you please help me welcome my friend Keith Wright?
I got too many devices here. Good afternoon. Y'all a good looking bunch. Most of them. Yeah, there's a few questionable. Can we just go home and say we did this and everything turned out all right? I'm gonna vote for that. That's my vote. I am Keith Wright, County Judge, Angelina County. First, I want to thank all the people employed by the county that make this county great. Their dedication and loyalty are essential to the present day operations and the future expansion of the county. I would also like to thank our county commissioners. With their support, without their support, we could not move forward. Would the county employees and elected officials please stand up? You guys? Thank you for your service. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today to discuss Angelina County. I hope the information that I provide is informative and educational. Maybe not, we'll see. Since I have this opportunity though, I would like to take a moment to ask a favor. It is the state of the county, right? So I need help. We need your support in 2024. Your county needs your support. There's been a lot of arguing, a lot of suspicion, a lot of discontent and political attacks taking place in the county. But for effective democratic government to exist, we must have the support of the governed. We're not always going to do everything right or in accordance with everyone's desires. It's not possible, but I will promise this. I don't mind backing up, punting, turn it around if we need to, if we find out we've done something wrong. The following quote is from The Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. I would like to add, our county is worth fighting for. We should dare greatly. We need to be smarter, more understanding, and more dedicated to the cause. We are stronger together and weaker divided. So this is my outline. I can't hardly see that from here. So, number one, I want to talk about the unit road system. Jail expansion, the new Angelina County Commissioners Court Annex, the county landfill, the old jail downtown, courthouse planning study, and the George H. Henderson Exposition Center. The unit road system. Does anybody live on a county road? There's a good possibility. There's about 700 miles of those roads. About 500 are theoretically paved. I'm going to say that loosely because some of them don't seem to be really pavement. But the unit road system was passed back in 2021, and it is getting better every day. It's working. It is a good system. We are going to make it work regardless of all the naysayers that are out there. It's happening. And so I am an engineer, and I've done engineering for 40-something years. So I just want to talk about some engineering principles for a minute. I know some of you are probably going, oh no, but I'm going to try to explain it and make sure everybody understands. One of the first things that we did that needed to be done, you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you're at, right? And so we did an analysis of all the paved streets in the county. We wanted to know what kind of condition they were in, what kind of problems we had, what are we looking at financially to improve this system? Is it possible to improve these systems? That's what we were looking at. We developed what's called a pavement condition index, a PCI, for every road in the county. Pavement condition index is rated from 0% non-existent to 100% great, okay? We're not at 100%, by the way. So, the unit road system started in 2021. At the end of 2021, also in 2021, there was a transition from commissioners to unit road. And I'm not talking about the commissioner part, I'm talking about the unit road part. 1 mile of road was improved in 2021 in the unit road. In 2022, at the end of 2022, after we hired the new road administrator, we started doing work and we did about 6 miles of road in 2022. In 2023, this past year, we did 20 miles of road. We could have done more, but we were doing some work, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, kind of what the latest getting started. This next year, we're going to estimate that we're going to do 40 miles of road. And I'm going to tell you that we need to be doing about 60 to 70 miles of road if we're ever going to make a dent in the backlog that we have. We've patched on, not completely, but on 690 roads we've done patching on. And that includes dirt roads, gravel roads. shaping, grading, taking out patches. One of the things that I first did when I came to City of Lufkin as city engineers, we got scientific in our patching. But the City of Lufkin has about 60 miles of roads. It's pretty easy to do a real good job patching those roads, but when you start patching 500 miles of paved road, you can't do it the way you think you ought to do it as an engineer. You've got to do it fast and furious to be able to keep up with the needs and the complaints in the county. We had a grant this year, $337,000 from TxDOT. That's the first money that we're going to spend in 2024. We've already selected the roads we're going to work on. Hopefully, TxDOT will continue those grants. Every dollar we can get, it saves the county. So we're going to take every dollar we can get and we're going to apply it towards those roads to make sure that we make progress. So one of the things that delayed us is the pug mill. The pug mill is a mixture, basically. It's a mixing system. So what you do is you bring in your sand, you bring in your oil, you bring in your aggregate, and it mixes it for you, and it creates a pavement that can save us money. We estimated last year with those 20 miles, we saved $352,000 by mixing our own material instead of paying somebody to mix it for us and bring it to us. And getting that right, getting it set up and making it work took a little while. That's why we only got the 20 miles this past year. We've got it working. We've got other plans. An oil sand road, which 90% of the county's roads are oil sand. That's exactly what it is. It's a mixture of oil and sand. It's not very structural. So we're looking in the future, TxDOT gives us millings. Millings is where they take an old asphalt road, they grind it up, and they pile it up. It's got aggregate, it's got asphalt. It's good stuff, and we're going to try to mix that with some of our oil sand when we're doing more heavily trafficked roads to kind of give it a structural integrity so it'll last longer. It's cost us, and this is now on the high end because we've improved what we're doing, but it's been costing us about $65,000 a mile, and that's today's dollars. So when I give you some other figures in a minute, I want you to understand that in the future, price keeps going up, keeps changing. But about $65,000 a mile. We think we can get that to about $40,000 a mile. But depending on what the economy does. This is out of the engineering study on the condition of the roads for pavement condition index. And I got to switch devices here. I don't know which one works. So this number right here is miles. 73.8 miles, 254.7 miles, so forth. The average pavement condition index for the entire county, and this represents about 500 miles of pavement, is 38. And you can see at the bottom you got a classification. Very poor, poor, marginal, so forth. Most of our roads are in the very poor or poor condition. So you got 320 something miles of road that are very poor or poor condition. Excellent, 0.6, probably concrete roads, right? The problem with oil sand is it doesn't hold up very well. Depends on what's going on. We could come in there and put a new oil sand road down, and then somebody could come in and log a piece of property and destroy that road. Or in the case we've experienced recently, we have people come in, do an oil and gas well, and they destroy the road. Or we have construction or whatever that's taking place on that road. Oil sand roads are not very structural as far as holding up to different types of traffic. This is budget information. I started in March of 2023, No, 2022, excuse me. This is the first budget I worked on, was 23 and 24. So in 2021, this was the transition period between the commissioner system versus unit road system. Our budget was $4.1 million. $843,000 during that year was dedicated to payment. 2022, $4,200,000 was the budget. Almost $500,000 was put towards actually doing pavement work, redoing the pavement. 2023, we realized, hey, we got to do more. We didn't know how much more because we didn't have our results from our study at that time. But the budget was $4.8 million. We bumped up our pavement to just a little over $1 million funds to do pavement work. And then this year, 2024, we bumped the budget up to $6 million. Our pavement is $1.9 million. So we're making some progress. But let me tell you something. What's wrong with our roads wasn't the commissioners. It wasn't the unit road system. The problem with what's going on with the roads, we haven't been putting enough money towards it. We cannot do what needs to be done with the amount of money that's been spent towards hardtop roads in the county budget. To make a dent, to make improvement, it's got to have a lot more money. It's got to have more funds towards that. This is a 127% increase from where we started. And we've got to do more. It's got to have more funds inserted into that system to make a difference. Okay, it's another complicated engineering slide, sorry. So this white column is your PCI index. This is where we are right now. Remember I showed you on that graph, we're 38 PCI. 5 years later, 2022 to 2027, this is what's happening depending on how much money you're spending. So if we were at the $1 million, what happened? Okay, thought I did something. So the green line represents that $1 million. We're starting off at 38 in 2022. In 2027, our PCI will be down to 27. 27. We're just getting worse. The roads are continuing to deteriorate because we're not spending enough money in order to keep the roads up. If you look at the red line represents a steady state where we're going to maintain our PCI. And they're saying in this engineering study that that's going to take $7.5 million a year to maintain that. There's one problem. The guys that did this are engineers like me. So when they design your road, it's going to be overkill. They're doing line stabilization, they're doing road base, they're doing asphalt, not oil sand. And you know, that's the ideal way to do it, but it's not possible for us to do 500 miles of road doing that level of engineering design. So what we come back and we're analyzing this and looking at this, doing the oil sand mixture with aggregate, we feel like we can reach that steady state at about $5.5 million and stop the deterioration. But it's going to take commitment, it's going to take funds, it's going to take unique budgeting to get there in order to make that happen. So the current per mile of oil sand road construction, $65,000. Like I said, I think we can get that lower. There are approximately 500 miles of hardtop road in the county. There's 328.5 miles of very poor or poor condition. If you go with a 328.5 miles at $65,000 a mile, we're talking about $21 million to fix it. Does that blow y'all's mind like it blows mine? I'm just hoping it does. Current Angelina County budget for hardtop roads is about $2 million. And the problem when you increase the budget for those hardtop roads, guess what else we have to do? We have to increase the maintenance on our equipment, the upkeep on our equipment, the amount of diesel we're buying, and the amount of people that we have, all of that is impacted by what needs to be done. The current budget, using the $2 million to take care of that 328 miles will take 11 years to do it. And I don't know about you, but the public doesn't have that kind of patience. I'm just letting you know. The problem is that the roads do not remain in a static state. They're constantly deteriorating. So as you put this money in it, you're going back. And I'm going to tell you, an oil sand road, depending on what's happening on that road, you may get 7 years out of it, you may get 3 years out of it. Depends on what kind of traffic and what kind of abuse that is happening on that road. It is a constant battle, it's a constant thing that we are battling and trying to take care of. If you went up to that $5 million, I made some notes here, I haven't been using them, but if you went up to that $5 million and you were working on 500 miles of roads, based at the estimates that I've been talking about, we could get it down that we're addressing every paved road in the county every 7 years. And that is our goal. That is doable, I do believe. And it just depends on how we can get there with the funds and make it happen. Oop. Wrong device, sorry. Let's talk about the jail a minute. I just talking to Judge Ball this morning. It's full. Guess what happens when the jail gets full? That guy that burglarized your house, we just turned him loose. To burglarize somebody else's house. No, we didn't? Okay. You told me you had him tied up on the hitching post. Well, the ones that we're keeping in the jail are the worst of the worst. Most of them are laughing at us. They know there's no accountability. And when there's no accountability, what you have is chaos. We have got to hold people accountable. We have got to follow the rule of law. People have to pay the price for violating the law. That is a requirement. It needs to happen for us to have safe communities, for us to have a safe county. It has to happen. I've got over here, I've got Tom Selman, I've got former police chief Gerald Williamson, and if you want to talk to somebody that knows about what's going on in the county, about people breaking the law in the county, take a moment and talk to them. We need to hold them accountable. And just fixing some of our legal system as far as the courts or our prosecution is not going to stop this process. The only other way you could do it, let's just dismiss the cases and let's let them all go. But we need to hold people accountable. If there's no accountability, nothing is going to be safe in this county, my house or your house. So, we did some estimates. We are looking at 279 beds right now. The new jail expansion would go to 504 beds. We did our initial cost estimates at $19 million. Let me tell you, if you're trying to estimate a project today, good luck. You need one of those 8 balls that you turn up and down and see if you can figure out what it's going to do. We bid one job, we were about a third low, a third high. Now, we got real good bids. I was amazed. I was shocked. I'm happy. So, our actual bid for expanding the jail to the 504 is $13,809,000. We're going to have $16 million in funds. The other thing is going to allow us an opportunity to go ahead and replace the roof on the existing jail and take care of a problem that's occurring and keeps occurring. And that'll help out as well. But what are we going to do? Are we going to hit that 504 immediately? No. It's going to be a while. So I just looked at it, and we're talking about the possibility of bed rental. A lot of counties are overflowed. They're doing the same, they have the same problems we have. They're letting people out left and right, and they want to rent beds. Not only do other governments want to rent beds, but the federal government wants to rent beds in order to place people in those beds. If I just did a real quick analysis, and this is on the low side, by the way, and I assume $45 a bed, and I assume that 100 of those beds could be used, that's $1.6 million a year. We could pay our debt in no time, renting those beds. The city of Lufkin is interested in participating in this project. Guess the first people that we let out. If you got a misdemeanor, we let you out. You don't have to pay your fines. You don't have to be held accountable. We'll arrest you and you'll be back on the street within 4 or 5 hours. So we want to be able to make sure that people follow the traffic laws in our county and in our cities. They need to be held accountable. If they speed, if they run a red light, and there's no accountability, it's going to be our families that they run into and kill. They need to be held accountable, even on a Class C misdemeanor. And one of the things that we hope to do is work out an ironclad agreement that we reserve some beds for people like the city of Lufkin that are sending people to the jail that need to be there, to know that there's accountability and that they're going to pay a price for violating the law. The existing roof is about $1 million that we would add to the project. This is basically what we're adding onto the jail. This right here is Frank Street's over here. Judge Ball's court's right here. So we're adding these sets with flexibility. We're creating the cells that they can take mental cases as well as other prisoners. Some of them are isolated, some of them are one cell occupancy, some of them are 16. It just depends on the case that we're dealing with. Oh, did I say that? I didn't. $10 million of this is grant funds. The United States is paying for it. We're paying for part of it, but the rest of the United States is helping us pay for it. That's a good thing. We need to utilize those funds. We're putting very little money into this to get what we're going to get. All right, same thing with this building. The new Angelina County Commissioners Court and Annex. This is the old Moore building. This is a rendering of what the outside would look like. Some of it, the pavement in the front's all going to be changed as well. It's going to be a good looking building. It's going to be something that I think that we can be proud of. It's all purchased with grant money, 100%. We didn't pay any of our tax dollars to purchase it. We didn't pay any of our tax dollars to fix it up. It's all the same funds that's going to help build the jail. We're estimating that it'll be built in June. That's a month ahead of the contractor. I really want to say May, but I probably can't pull that off. Who's going to be over there? The county judge, me, the commissioners, and the commissioners' courtroom will be there. Future meetings for the commissioners' court are going to be located at this building. The tax office, you'll see a drive-through on the back. We're redoing the tax office. They'll have a lot more access and access points in order to be able to get up there and get your business taken care of. The county auditor, county treasurer, human resources, indigent health care, county veteran service officer, emergency operations center, and a 9/11 addressing will all be located in the new building. Why is that good? Now, let me change this first because I don't want to go into that yet. Here's the problem. This is a problem. I'm just letting you know. This is a landfill. These two cells right here, what's called permit number 1281, permit number 5, are complete. They're done. They're full. We've got to maintain them for 30 years, according to the state of Texas. What's called track 1 here is almost done. We're about to finish that track. We're not going to be able to put any more trash in it. We're going to cap it according to the state laws, and we're going to move on. Right now, we're in track 2. This is where your trash is going right now, in track 2. Now this is divided up into cells, and I'll show you in a minute, and what needs to be done in order to get the trash. You've got to build a liner, you've got to do all kinds of collection systems. It's not something that you just go dig a hole and throw trash in. This track 3, is the future landfill. That's where it's got to go. And that's got to be operational in 2030. So we just completed in track 2, the one that was in the middle, 2 cells, and that was from $2.5 million that the county put in from fund balance without any type of debt in order to do those 2 cells. Track 1, the bigger one that was next to the highway, it's going to need to be capped this year. We need to put our cap on it in order to meet Texas regulations and in order to be able to move beyond into the 30-year period of maintaining. It's going to take about $6 million to build that cap. 2027, we need to construct 2 more cells, M and N in track 2. It's going to take about $3.5 million to build those cells. In 2032, we're going to have to cap track 2 because it'll be full, and that'll take about $8.4 million. So the total cost to complete track 2 and track 1 is about $18 million, and that has to be done by 2032. You know what? When I run for this office, I didn't ask for that. We just got here. So we're figuring it out and what we have to do. It's not going to be easy. And I'm afraid, and I hate to tell you, it's going to impact us all. We're going to have to begin the new permit for the new landfill, track 3 in 2024 this year, and it's going to cost around $1 to $1.25 million for that permit. It'll take 5 years to get the permit. It's not something you can do very easily or very quick. You got to plan ahead. It's going to take about 5 years to get that permit. Track 3, the first cell that we have to have ready in 2030, we're estimating it's going to be about 15 acres in size, and it's going to cost about $4.4 million to build to EPA and state standards. The total cost to start placing waste in track 3 in 2030 is about $5.65 million. So you add those 2 together, it's a lot of money in order for us to dispose of our waste. And we don't have many options. Okay. Upon the completion of the new Commissioner's Court Annex project, we have some files in the old county jail that are deteriorating. We have to move out. And it's going to allow us, the Commissioner's Court's already approved this, and we are going to do demolition of that old courthouse, the old jail, not courthouse. Yeah, I like to. The old jail, and we're going to build a parking lot. Because if we're going to address the courthouse, we're going to have more parking. 2024, we're going to seek proposals. The Commissioner's Court's already approved this as well on a planning study on what to do with the courthouse. The courthouse, besides being the ugliest courthouse in the state of Texas, is solid. It is rock, cement walls, and it's not very conducive to adding internet capacity or video capacity or doing things that need to be done in a modern society. The rooms are very small, and the other issue that it has is it's got a lot of asbestos in it. It's okay as long as we don't disturb it, but if we go in there and do any type of work, we've got to have a study and some people come in order to remove that asbestos. The courthouse has lots of needs. So what is this going to entail? So we're going to hire a planning study to be done. We're going to look at multiple options on what could be done. Tear down the whole courthouse, build a new one. Relocate to the old annex building where we've created capacity because of the new annex building. Do different things that we can do in order to keep functioning, particularly with our court system. The other option, maybe we buy some land and we build a judicial system, judicial building, move all of our courts over there, renovate the old courthouse. That's an option. Another option may be we just go behind the existing courthouse and we build a new building behind it. Believe it or not, there's some room there. So there's all kinds of things that will have to be done, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a community team that's going to help us make this decision. And these people will come from normal, everyday citizens across the county in every precinct. And we'll be presenting these options to them, and they're going to make a recommendation to the Commissioner's Court. The airport. Our airport is going like gangbusters. I mean, you may not realize it, but things are happening out there. We're building hangars left and right. We have a waiting list for hangars. We have large aircraft coming in. We have a lot of business aircraft coming in. It's amazing at the amount of activity that we're having. And if you look at the plane on the right, this plane, that is not designed for our airport, but it landed at our airport. So we have that all the time. We have a lot of military, federal aircraft that come through. The problem with that plane landing in our airport, our runway is too short and it can't take off with a full load of fuel. So that's an issue. And we think that we can pick up a lot of additional traffic. And I'm going to tell you a story. And this is what comes from working together. And Mark, I hope you don't mind me telling this story. So we have a runway that's 5,400 feet long. We call it runway 725. We are getting a grant from the federal government to increase that runway to 7,000 feet. It'll change the classification of our airport from B2 to C2. Our Congressman, Pete Sessions, who's done more for us than any congressman probably since Charlie Wilson. We were in a meeting at the airport, and he looked at me and he said, "Keith, Judge, what do you need?" And I said, "I need funds to extend that runway. It'll help us handle the aircraft that we're receiving. It'll help us in economic development." And he looked at Mark Hicks and he said, "Mayor, do you agree with that?" And Mark said, "Yes, I agree with that." He looked at us, he looked back and forth, he says, "I don't know if I've ever had this happen where I had the county and the city agreeing on something." It helps when you have good relationships. It helps when you work together to accomplish the goal and to do the good. And I think that is very important. We've just taken over, and this is where we've temporarily lost our mind. I just want to point this out. We didn't know what we were getting to. I don't know, lost our minds, just ignorance. So everybody's in full bore panic, the Expo people and the county, trying to integrate them into our county system. We are doing that right now. It is a process in education. It's going to have growing pains. It's going to take a few months to get straightened out. The problem is, anytime you throw government into something, you've got all kinds of regulations, right? It's not as simple when it's a private entity or it's run by a 501c3 corporation. When you put government in there, it's a problem. And the deal with government and why they approached us about this is the long-term viability of the Expo. I think it's critical to our community and our county that we have facilities like this that continue to operate. And really, the only one that can successfully do that in the long term is government. So that's the reason we agreed to it. But it's a endeavor to get to where we need to go. I've got a closing statement that I want to read. In closing, I believe that the state of the county is moving in the right direction. I hope you can see that we're doing a lot. We're making things happen. The Union Road system is improving every year. The new Commissioner's Court Annex building will be a facility that the citizens can be proud of and will improve our capability to address the existing courthouse. The airport is continuing to grow to thrive. The landfill will be a continuous challenge over the next few years. We are planning for the future. We need men and women to run for office with the appropriate education, training, and experience in order to continue to move our county to a higher level of competency, integrity, honesty, and transparency. Elected office should not be a job. It should be a service. I want to thank the Chamber for the opportunity to speak today. And can I just talk from my heart for a moment? I chose not to address any of this stuff going on, not to talk about it directly, but I need you to know something. They're trying to, there's a coordinated effort to make our county appear that it's crooked, dishonest, no integrity on every level. I'm going to tell you right now, that is wrong. That is not true. When you operate on half-truths and not tell the whole truth, it's still a lie. We are doing everything we can to be honest, and I'm going to tell you something, there is nothing that I know of worth violating the law for to defile my county. We're going to do it right, we're going to do it to the best of our ability, and trust us, there's nobody in there knowingly violating the law. And you can put out these stories and these videos all you want to, but it's not true, and I want you to know it's not true. I've spent 30 years of my life in government. I've never had an issue, so all of a sudden, overnight, I started violating the law. It's not true. Trust your government, trust your city government, trust your county government. Support us and help us, and we'll get past this. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. We are proud to have you in office, so thank you for all that you do for us. We do have a lot of things going on at the Chamber. January, February, March, it is a wild ride at the Chamber. And we hope that you will join us for a lot of events that we have going on. Next week, the 104th Annual Chamber Banquet presented by Lufkin Ford is on next Thursday, January the 18th. If you have not made reservations yet, please do so today as we are trying to turn in head count and food numbers. We would love to have you join us right back here at the Convention Center. The reception will be from 6 to 7. The banquet will start at 7, and I promise to have you out before 8:30. You have my word on that. Look, I don't mess around. Let's start it and get it done and get you home to your families. Thursday, January 25th, we're excited to welcome back our governmental affairs program. We've actually taken a little hiatus over the years, but we're bringing it back. This is open to any investor who is interested in hearing more and learning more about what is happening in Austin and Washington, D.C. These meetings will be quarterly, and we will begin with Representative Trent Ashby. So come join us Thursday the 25th at 8 a.m. at the Chamber and hear what Trent has to say. Friday, January 26th is our monthly Power Networking Breakfast, and it's featuring recruiting with SFA talent. There are also several big events in February that we want you to be on the lookout for. Thursday, February the 1st, UBank will kick off the month with the Cheers with the Chamber. You don't want to miss out on this one because they will be announcing who their artists will be at the Good for Country concert coming up later in the spring. February 1st Friday will also be back here at the Convention Center with Mayor Mark Hicks, so make your reservations for that. If you have not made your reservation for the hotel for Chamber Days, you need to do that quickly as the hotel reservation will be closing soon. All of that has been going out in Chamber emails, but you can actually hit that QR code right there. It will take you to our room block reservation. We would love to have you join us February 13th, 14th, and 15th in Austin. We will also be hosting a candidate forum later in the month of February. Be on the lookout for additional information for that. We are just finalizing details on that, so that will be coming to you soon. And we will do our on-time drawing, sponsored by ServPro of Lufkin, South Nacogdoches County. For those who registered on time today, we appreciate that. I have $100 for Chris Gaw. Chris, are you here? Yeah, come on up. We'll give you $100. Thanks so much for joining us today. Again, Judge, thank you for all of what you do for our county, and we hope to see you next week at the banquet. Bye-bye.